All right, Kirby Smart and the Georgia Bulldogs with a big win today over Tennessee Tech, 48-3. Tennessee Tech scored a field goal on the last play of the game, or else this was looking like a real shutout. Georgia got off to a fast start. Defensively to start the game, forced a 3 and out. They got the ball back. Nice punt return by Anthony Evans led to a Carson Beck to Dylan Bell touchdown. Georgia gets another 3 out. They score another quick touchdown. Boom, 14-0. Blink of an eye, just like that. Things kind of settled down in the second quarter. It felt like Georgia just, this is a tune-up game, and Georgia, played like it a little bit. They got off to a quick start, but they've played better. This team has played better. Carson Beck has played better. I believe he completed 10 of his first 11 passes in this game, so things look great. I think he ended the game. I know he threw for 5 touchdown passes. If you can hear me, the band is playing in the background. Beautiful day, but I think he threw for 242 yards, 5 touchdowns, so kind of a career day for Carson Beck, but he has been more accurate. There were a few balls that he threw that he normally hits 8 out of 10 times, right? It just didn't seem like they were as crisp, as efficient as they have been in the past. Trevor Etienne was very good running the ball. He only had 5 carries, I think rushed for like 80 plus yards, something like that. Thought we'd see a little bit more of Nate Frazier. He actually got dinged up towards the end of the game. And I don't know if, I don't think it's serious, but he definitely didn't come back out. Again, I hope you can hear me. The band is loud. The band is loud, and this game really dragged on. It finally ended, but you know what? I'm going to go on a quick rant here before I talk about the defense, how good they are, because they played like the best defense in college football again. I know it's just Tennessee Tech, but these games need to kick off at 11. These tune-up games, these games that don't matter, UMass, Tennessee Tech, whoever, these should be 11 a.m. games. Get it over with early, 10 minutes per quarter. These games just drag on, man. And I wish we could have seen a little more Gunnar Stockton. I think he was like 10 for 12, 90 yards or so. But again, the game plan was very vanilla today. They didn't try a whole lot, either on defense or on offense. Tyrion Ingram-Dawkins was a defender who stood out. He had 3 tackles for a loss in this ball game. We saw a big sack from KJ Bolden. Kristen Miller got in there on a sack. Freshman Jordan Thomas got in there on a sack. So defensively, they could not play much better. It was the third stringers who gave up the field goal at the end of the ball game, and was helped by a face mask penalty by someone. I forgot who it was, but they could clean up some things as far as the penalties go too. They didn't play perfect there. They could play more disciplined, but at the end of the day, what I wanted to see was, can this team come out against a team like Tennessee Tech? The band's loud. The band is loud, too loud. Game's over. The band can cut it out. We got people working. I get it. The band. I'm not a band guy. They can stop it at any moment if they want. Game's over. Game's been over. Should have been over an hour ago, but it is what it is. And we saw some young players, a lot of young players step up and play towards the end of the game. A lot of freshmen, and that's always important. Even at a game like this, you want these guys out there. You want them getting some experience, getting much needed reps and playing time, because it is going to help against the teams that matter. Tennessee Tech does not matter. Defensively, just thinking of the stats in my head, they did not throw the ball. They couldn't really throw the ball at all. At one point, they had -7 passing yards. I think they ended up with like 19 or 20 before that final drive, where they did pick up some yards through the air, I think, but they couldn't run it. They couldn't pass it. I think they broke off like 2 or 3 runs of like 6 or 7 yards. That was it. But I don't think Tennessee Tech really had many snaps at all past midfield. But we've seen this team play better. And again, I think the spread was like 53.5 or something. It looked like they were not going to get to that point early on in the game, but they started off quick. The game was obviously never in doubt. It is a tune-up game. Again, should have been played at like 10 in the morning. Get it over with. At 40, it was 48-0. It ended up being 48-3. But Kentucky's playing right now. I do think Georgia will come out a little bit more fire, a little bit more chemistry. But again, if you look at Carson Beck's numbers, they're not bad, and he threw for 5 touchdown passes, which is tied with like every other Georgia quarterback since David Green for the record most in a game. He threw 5, just under 250 yards, but there were some throws that I think he would like to have back, and some throws that he missed. So it was not his most accurate game, but again, they got the job done clearly, comfortably. Got to the hot start. And the second quarter wasn't great, but that first quarter they came out and made a statement. You can't really make a statement against a team like Tennessee Tech. Nobody cares about Tennessee Tech. The Georgia freshmen, the guys who were able to get in, they care about Tennessee Tech because they were able to get into the game. But they also played against Clemson. But I mean, solid, sound win. You can't take too much from this because I don't think Georgia really showed much at all. In fact, I know they didn't show much at all on offense or defense. But when you play a team like Tennessee Tech, you expect a rout. You expect a blowout. That's what we got. That's what you expect from the #1 team in the country. But they could play better. And things weren't always as crisp or as comfortable as they have been in the past. But still, what is probably should have been 48-0 turned into 48-3. One of the longest tune-up games I can imagine. They even shortened the fourth quarter, and it still found a way to just drag and would never end. It's over now, but it's been over since like 2:30, 3 o'clock. But I mean, what more do you want to see from this offense? Maybe a little more cohesiveness offensively, but we know they can do that. They can click and fire in all cylinders at any point. We saw that a lot last year, and but this is kind of a game where they can still go back to the film and say, hey, we could do this better. We could do this better. Sound gap assignment on the defensive lines. I'm being nitpicky, but it felt like there were a couple of holes there that allowed Tennessee Tech to pick up a nice little run or two early in the game. Still wasn't much. Ernest Green, I did not think had the best game. He had a holding call and a false start call, so they could clean up some stuff as far as the penalties go. A face mask or two. There was I think maybe another hold. So I mean, that's little stuff that they can clean up. But Nate Frazier got banged up. I think I mentioned that earlier. Don't think it's serious. Oscar Delp got a little banged up. I think that was a right ankle. I think it was Nazir Johnson who went down with like 2 or 3 minutes left in the game. So they didn't get out of this totally unscathed, but I think you have to like what Trevor Etienne brought to the table. Lawson Lucky is continuing to make some plays. Nate Frazier had a couple nice runs in there. I thought we'd see, some bigger, more electric runs, but, they played a team that is not as bad as you think. You look at the schedule, say Tennessee Tech, Georgia should win the game by 1 million, and they kind of, 48 points with the final play to go. I mean, it was a sound beating, but they tackled hard and they played hard, and Georgia didn't have everything come easy to them throughout this game. They still had to kind of work through some things and play well at times to earn what they got. But this team, Tennessee Tech, should have beat Middle Tennessee State in week 1. That's a team that's much bigger than them with more resources, and they played them hard and probably should have won that game. So this is a team that has some players on it, and I thought defensively they made several nice tackles in the open field. I mean, they brought a little bit of physicality, and they played hard. They gave it everything they had, and it still wasn't nearly enough. But Georgia came out, punched them in the face, played around a little bit, and then just kind of took the game over for sure. I mean, they were taking over all game. But again, you could still, when you're watching the game, think, okay, that wasn't as clean as we've seen it, or they've probably run the ball a little bit more than better than they're doing it right now, or it just didn't feel like they played their best, like they played to an elite level, that they played to their standard. I'll be interested to see what Kirby Smart has to say in his press conference, but I'm sure he would like to see more out of his team. But for more, make sure you head over to the website, sign up to our newsletter. So you can get an email every day of all of our stories. A lot of them are free, so make sure you're on the website and checking out everything we have to offer. Kind of a ho-hum, boring game out there today, but it was like a little practice. It was a practice at home in front of a lot of fans. Tune-up game. Georgia treated them like it. 48-3 final score. They won by 45 points. It didn't look great the entire time, and they can clean some things up. They didn't play their best. Carson Beck didn't play their best, but they won the game by 45 points, 2-0. They're going to start SEC play next weekend at Kentucky and Lexington. Thanks for watching. I'll see you out there at Kentucky.